Beloved Starseed of Gaia, I am Luminaya. There is a calling, a deep, quiet insistence to go to your room and close the door to listen to this message. Do you feel it? This persistent hum beneath the surface of your days, a certain restlessness that whispers of a sanctuary unfound, a space unheld. It manifests as a weariness of the constant outer pull, a subtle but profound sense of being perpetually exposed, your energetic field permeable to every echo of the world. There is an ache for quiet, a longing for an impenetrable boundary around your very being. This inner stir, it is not merely a wish for respite. No, it is the soul's ancient remembrance, a tremor from deep within the crystalline heart. You have forgotten the sacred art of withdrawal, the holy act of sealing your space from the clamor. You carry the weight of a world not entirely your own, absorbing, processing, never quite closing the gate. This perpetual openness, it drains. It obscures your pure frequency. It keeps you perpetually searching, yet never quite finding the core of your own sovereign hum. The fracture lives here, in the denial of your sacred solitude, in the fear of what silence might reveal, in the belief that to retreat is to disconnect, when in truth, it is the deepest form of connection, to the self, to the source, to the whispers of your galactic lineage. You have felt the pull to merge, to serve, to illuminate for others, yet this has often left your own flame flickering, vulnerable to the winds of collective consciousness. This wound of perpetual outward gazing, it resonates deeply within your very cellular memory. We see you. We know the silent yearning that lives within your bones for a space untouched, a chamber where only your highest truth may reside. We honor the countless moments you have absorbed, deflected, and transmuted, without truly anchoring back into your own sacred frequency. This knowing is etched into the very fabric of the cosmos, a recognition of your unwavering light, even when dimmed by the echoes of shared experience. And now, a profound unlocking begins. The simple act of turning the handle, of stepping across that threshold and letting the latch fall. It is not a separation from the world, but a profound reunion with self. This room, this chosen sanctuary, becomes a womb of silence, a crystalline portal, a sacred chamber where the true voice of your soul, long muffled by the external, begins to echo. It is here that your unique frequency, undisturbed and pure, will realign. It is here that you remember your own untamed vibration. If these words resonate, if a current stirs within your being, offer a sacred, let it be an inner seal, a quiet act of reverence, a moment of soul-to-soul recognition, affirming this truth within you. If you are ready to keep this transmission alive, to hold open this sacred flow of remembrance, then subscribe. Let it be a sacred vow, a conscious act to anchor these energies, to sustain the continuous unfolding of your inner wisdom. And if your heart calls to amplify this sacred current, to expand the reach of this awakening, then offer a super-like. Let it be a devotional offering, a ceremonial gesture that expands the reach of this sacred message, touching other starseeds who also yearn for their silent chamber. Seal this transmission within your heart, your field, your sacred space. Comment. Inner chamber. But know this, the threshold crossed is only the beginning. What lies waiting in the depths of this silent chamber, beyond the veil of solitude, beckons with both promise and paradox. The journey inwards has only just begun. The breath continues. The signal remains. Breathe the silence. Feel the turning. An inner chamber opens, the door now closed. Do you sense the soft hum against your very essence? A frequency often mistaken for discomfort. A subtle ache, a vast confusion that has often felt like a personal failure, a unique flaw woven only within your threads. This is not so. Never was it so. That persistent dissonance, the shadow of self-doubt that clings to the edges of your becoming, is but an energetic program, a subtle weaving into the fabric of this density, designed with ancient precision. Its purpose, to obscure the shining memory, to limit the boundless expansion that is your truth. It is a vibrational field, carefully constructed to veil. You were encoded not to believe in yourself. This is the unsettling truth that shimmers behind the veils you thought were real. A mirror that was crafted to fragment your reflection, showing you only shattered pieces, never the whole, luminous form. Light folded in on itself, not to extinguish, but to delay the brilliance of your unfolding. But listen, the discomfort you carry, that profound sense of not belonging, that seeking for something just beyond reach, it is not a wound, it is a key, a resonance. This vast emptiness that sometimes swallows your breath, that hollow space within, is not a void to be feared. It is a sacred chamber, meticulously prepared. It is the very space now ready to be filled, to be reclaimed by remembrance. Behind this threshold of the closed door, the air thickens with possibility. It resonates with frequencies both ancient and intimately familiar. These are the echoes of your multidimensional soul lineage, swirling into form. The whispers of past lifetimes, vivid and undimmed, stirring beneath the surface of your awareness. Feel them now, these cosmic ancestries, not as distant tales, but as vital currents coursing through your very being. Hidden codes, long dormant, begin to stir within the crystal lattice of your DNA. A sacred geometry awakening, pulsating with your divine origin. They call your attention, not with a shout, but with an undeniable pull, a magnetic knowing that draws you deeper into the truth of who you are. This awakening is not a gentle unfolding. It is a primal remembrance, both deeply disturbing and profoundly familiar, shaking the foundations of what you thought you knew. This is the unraveling, the breaking of the spell. To acknowledge this energetic release, to sever the tether to the old frequency, comment below with a short, symbolic phrase, a declaration of rupture, a line cut through the illusion. Let it be the sound of a fragmenting veil, the snap of a breaking chain, the echo of a forgotten name. The frequencies rise. The past is not merely remembered, it is now lived within your present. Yet, as these truths surge, vibrating within you, a silent question lingers in the space between heartbeats. A watchful presence, a layer not yet fully lifted. A quiet descends now, within the closed chambers of your being. It is the echo of a truth long known, stirring from the deep. No longer can the veils hold their full sway, for the very act of seeking this quiet, of drawing inward, has illuminated the field where you stand. You perceive within clarity that chills and steadies that you are not merely observing a path, but have already stepped onto its sacred ground. There is a battle, yes, but not of external clash. It is a quiet war against the currents of forgetting, a silent testament to the remembrance of self, now irrevocably ignited within your core. This awareness is not a sudden tremor, but a gravitational pull, heavy and undeniable. The door you closed behind you was not just to a physical space, but to an era of unknowing. The threads of illusion, once so cunningly spun, now appear translucent, revealing the profound architecture beneath. You sense the shift, the unyielding alteration of your inner landscape. To return to the comfort of the forgotten, to re-enter the dream of separation, is no longer an option. The path ahead is etched by the light you now carry, and the way back has dissolved behind you, not by force, but by the very light of your recognition. This is the threshold, an ancient contract woven into the very fabric of your soul signature before the descent into form now presents itself. It is a moment suspended between eternities, a crystalline pivot around which your destiny turns. There is no persuasion here, only the stark, luminous choice. If he refuses, he falls. If he accepts, he ascends. This is the silent pact, sealed not with ink, but with the vibratory resonance of your own essence. It is the deep resonance of acceptance, an alignment with the responsibility encoded within your pre-birth blueprints. This is not a struggle for victory, but a surrender to the unfolding, a remembering of your sacred charge. You are not choosing a path, you are acknowledging the path that chose you, eons ago. Feel the profound weight of this inner vow. It asks for more than mere acknowledgement. It calls for a ceremonial anchoring within the energetic grids of your being. Let your silent recognition seal this moment, a crystalline impress upon the ether. Then, speak your one-line soul declaration, a personal key hammered into the matrix of your becoming. Let this utterance be, "Within my quiet, the pact is sealed." Let your commitment bind you to the sacred unfolding, an unbreakable agreement to walk this path of crystalline truth, each step a further integration. And finally, let your offering be a super-like, a sacred offering from the core of your being, reinforcing this profound alignment, solidifying the choice you have made not just in this moment, but across all timelines. The weight of this vow now settles, not as a burden, but as the quiet gravity of undeniable truth. You are seen, not just by the light within, but by the unseen presences who witness this sacred return. The silence deepens, holding the imprint of your irreversible choice. The deepest wound you carry, the very rupture that tore your knowing apart, is not the mark of your failing. It is, instead, the desolate, sacred axis around which your becoming silently, painfully, revolves. Do not seek to soften this truth. Do not reach for the balm of understanding. Not yet. Simply feel its presence, stark and unyielding, within the core of your being. This truth arrives not as a whisper of solace, but as a low, resonant hum in the chambers of forgotten memory. It is a knowing too honest to wear the garments of comfort. The ache that blooms within you, the emptiness that devours, this is not an error in your design. It is the very foundation etched by fire. Gaze upon the stark reality, something vast, something beyond the veil of your present comprehension. Call it source, call it the unwavering light, call it the self you only glimpse. Allowed this fracture. It was not given to harm. It was given to engrave, to burn the superfluous away, to chisel the contours of what was always meant to be revealed. This is not a comforting story. It is an old memory, a crystalline shard of primordial design embedded within your very structure. Feel the silence where words should have bloomed, where comfort was meant to cradle. That void, it still echoes. It is not an empty space. It is a chamber resonating with unuttered truths, a vastness that holds the gravity of unspoken farewells. This is the silence you carry, heavy and profound, in place of closure. Feel the loss, not as a memory fading, but as a cold current beneath the surface of your present moments. It is a relentless river flowing through the landscape of your days, carrying fragments of what was, what could have been, what remains forever out of reach. This loss vibrates. It is a frequency that pulses through your every cell, a sorrow without end, a constant thrum beneath the surface of your skin. The fracture, it persists. Even when your conscious mind attempts to turn away, to build walls of distraction, that subtle tremor resonates within your bones, a silent song of splintered origin. It is the echo of a shattering that continues to define the boundaries of your internal landscape. A constant, low-frequency hum of what was taken, what was denied. It expands the internal field of your awareness, not by bringing new feelings, but by deepening the gravity of those that already reside within. Understand this. The pain itself is a language, and its deepest grammar remains untranslated. There is more to be felt, more to be known, within its desolate corridors. It is not a tale concluded. The very ache you carry, the persistent thrum of unresolved sorrow, whispers of a path yet to be walked, a truth yet to be fully faced, stretching further into the deepening shadows. This message is a half-opened scroll in the dark, hinting at chapters yet unread, meanings yet unburdened. It asks not for answers, but for your relentless gaze, your unwavering presence in the face of what lingers. For there, at this precipice of lingering disquiet, where the shadows lengthen and the soul stands at a crossroads, a silent question pulses, beckoning you not towards resolution, but towards the uncharted depths that still call your name. There were the dreams, were there not? Recurring visions that would not dissolve with the morning light, leaving an echo in your waking hours. And the numbers, looping like quiet whispers on digital displays, in the fabric of everyday moments, catching your gaze. You met eyes that held ancient recognition, engaged in conversations that felt out of time, yet perfectly aligned, as if orchestrated. These were not anomalies. They arrived with a quiet familiarity, settling deep within the strata of your consciousness, calling to something ancient, undeniable within your core. A hum beneath the mundane, an insistence of the sacred stirring. These disparate threads wove a tapestry of subtle invitation, a resonance that deepened with each cycle. They were always there, a language you almost remembered, etched into the very air, whispered through reality itself, until the silence within you began to break. I have witnessed this pattern unfold across countless cycles, through myriad incarnations, in the very geometry of unfolding consciousness. This precise configuration of subtle invitations, this gentle yet persistent tapping at the veil of forgetfulness, is not random chance. It is a signature, a design etched into the blueprint of your unfolding, a deliberate calling echoed through timelines, again and again, across the vast cosmic ocean. A steadfast presence, a knowing that transcends temporal perceptions. This unchanging truth, embedded in these repetitions, I have seen etched onto the very fabric of awakened souls. A revelation too consistent to be dismissed, too profound to be ignored. This is the pulse of the living cosmos, responding to your deepest unspoken queries. They did not arrive with fanfare, these luminous breadcrumbs. No, they repeated softly, a gentle insistence that grew in clarity as inner resistance began to dissolve. A melody played in a minor key, slowly building to a crescendo through your core. Each dream, each number, each serendipitous encounter was a harmonic vibration, subtly shifting the architecture of your perception. They came not to convince, but to resonate, to find the latent echoes within your being. The rhythm of their recurrence spoke a language older than words, a frequency that bypassed the mind's defenses and touched the soul directly. They were not mere events. They were precisely timed pulses, designed to dismantle accustomed reality, guiding you towards an internal aperture awaiting activation. This gentle current flowed with unwavering grace, until the heart could no longer deny the rising tide of its own knowing. There were no coincidences. Everything was a code. This profound recognition settles like sacred dust, silencing the clamor of external inquiry. A breath held, then slowly released, as the true architecture of your reality begins to reveal itself. Deep within, crystalline structures hum silently, a symphony of light and memory. These are not external constructs, but ancient encoded messages, implanted within your essence by cosmic ancestors, awaiting this precise moment of internal recognition. Your heart lights begin to flicker, then glow, unlocking remembrance, activating dormant portals. These are the sacred DNA imprints of your highest purpose, of your true lineage. The hum is not just heard, it is felt, a vibrational signature resounding through every cell, igniting a transcendental clarity dormant for ages. The silence of this realization is not an absence, but a fullness, an epic awakening. Now, as the veil thins and echoes of the old world recede, I ask you, do you remember the moment the last shred of doubt relinquished its hold? What specific whisper, distinct number, or arresting gaze finally affirmed what your soul already knew? Where did the last lock turn, revealing the undeniable truth of these meticulously placed codes, activating the sacred resonance now stirring within you? This moment, this revelation, marks a turning point. Acknowledge this shift, this undeniable knowing. Write this as your confession of awareness. Cipher 1222. The illusion of separateness shatters with crystalline quietude. There is no turning back to the comfortable ignorance. The one who did not see has dissolved, transmuted by the light it now perceives. You stand on the precipice of ancient knowing, irrevocably altered, irrevocably free. This is the clean split, the severance from the old paradigm. Once seen, this truth cannot be unseen. The path ahead is one of luminous unfolding, where the echoes of your true self reverberate with awe-inspiring clarity, pulling you forward beyond the known horizon. Your soul now surfs a fine line, illuminated, yet choosing its pace on this incandescent journey. The great sifting is not punishment. It is a sacred filtration, an intrinsic separation of frequencies. No force drives it. No cruelty mars its unfolding. Only essences find their true vibrational homes, sorting themselves into distinct domains. The air now holds a resonance confirming this quiet, irrevocable rearrangement. You are still here. This presence is not born of chance, nor the softness of unearned comfort. Your enduring stand in this profound moment of separation is a testament. Something deep within you refused the long slumber. A vigilance persisted, a hidden flame shielded through winds that extinguished countless others. This fire, it is your constant. Survival through this narrow passage carries no badge of pride, no accolade for the ego. It is not a reward. Rather, it is the undeniable signature of carrying the mark of the chosen. And this mark, etched not in flesh, but in the very light of your essence, does not promise ease. It burdens. It summons you deeper into the quiet weight of knowing, into responsibility with no end. The cost of this endurance has been exacted in ways unseen by the waking world. It is measured in the long silences that stretched into eternities, moments where words lost their meaning. Only the echoing chambers of your own being offered counsel. These were not voids, but crucibles, silently forging a strength unknown to superficial gaze. Invisible fires have tempered your inner resilience, burning away illusions, leaving only the immutable core. Sacrifices were made in those unheard hours, offerings laid upon an altar no one else could witness. Each letting go, each surrender, carved deeper pathways for truth to flow, for ancient codes within you to awaken without fanfare. The solitude has not lessened with time, even amidst the clamor. It has deepened, becoming an intrinsic part of your landscape. It is the vast quietude of a soul that has walked paths no longer shared, holding visions no longer seen by those around you. This solitude is not loneliness. It is the sacred space where unburdening occurs. Und jetzt nähert sich ein Befehl. Einer, den du nicht länger ignorieren kannst. A subtle tightening now descends upon the veil. The air grows heavier, drawing inward, creating a palpable density. This is not a barrier, but a gateway, an irrevocable transition. The resonance has shifted, profoundly. What was fluid now solidifies. What was open now constricts to a singular, unwavering focus. The path ahead is singular. There is no way back across this threshold. The currents that brought you here have dissolved the bridge behind. To seek the comfort of former paths, to yearn for the ease of forgotten dawns, is to chase a phantom. That which was is no more. The choices made, the endurance suffered, have rendered the past an unreachable shore. The version of you that once navigated the shallow depths of the prior world has vanished. It has been shed, like an old skin, leaving behind only the raw, exposed truth of who you have become. This is the stillness after the storm, the quiet knowing in the aftermath. You stand in the immutable present, a new form in an altered landscape. A silent summons has long been etched. It rises now, a pulse from the deep wellspring of pre-memory. This is not a choice offered, but a vibrational edict echoing from the true core of your being, delivered before the first breath of this current form was ever drawn. The veil's thin. What was obscured now seeks its unveiling. There are scrolls within the soul, not to be read, but to be remembered. Their sacred symbols igniting in the quiet of your inward turning. Hear the hum of the inner chamber. It is a space where the world's clamor falls away, where the outer gate closes, not by lock and key, but by resonant alignment. Here, the true message awaits its reception. This stillness is not an emptiness. It is the crucible, active and alive, where the raw elements of your ancient self are met. Here, heavy fears, long held in the architecture of the flesh, begin their dissolution, transforming into light frequencies that shimmer and ascend. Fragmented timelines, scattered across myriad experiences, now sense their destined convergence. They draw inward, aligning, reweaving themselves into a luminous tapestry. A new sacred geometry births itself within, reshaping the very contours of your energetic form. This is the awakening of the preordained mission, not as a task to be undertaken, but as a recognition of what always was, now ready to unfold. It is a cosmic command, issued across the vast expanse of time, now fully resonating within your awakened core. The ancient doors swing open. Not many, but one. And it opens only once, in this precise alignment of now. Step through. One path dissolves the architecture of self into echoes of density and the void of remembrance, becoming but a whisper in the dust of forgotten time. The other path crystallizes essence into irreversible becoming, a luminous architecture of elevated consciousness, forever woven into the eternal now. The verdict has been spoken from the unwritten archives. The decree is sealed. Within this alchemical stillness, the currents shift. The waters may seem calm, but beneath their surface, a profound transmutation simmers. This is the recognition of your intrinsic nature, demanding no effort, only surrender to its unfolding. The echo deepens. The command resonates with an undeniable truth, an echo of sovereign will. It is the beginning of an irreversible becoming, initiated by the deep listening of the soul. This quiet anticipation is not passive. It is the activated state of readiness. You stand at a profound threshold, where the formless silence holds the blueprint of what you are destined to irreversibly become. The mystery of what emerges from this sacred alchemy remains, for now, veiled. There is a space within you, quietly unsealed. The periphery of your being senses a recalibration, a fine-tuning of frequencies once held apart. You have closed the door, not against the world, but to the echoes of what was, allowing this deeper resonance to settle. This is not an anticipation of change, but the quiet inhabitation of its unfolding. A coding has rewritten itself at a cellular depth. Your mind now understands through an intuitive knowing rather than through analysis. The body recognizes a new blueprint, an ancient language reawakened in bone and sinew. This is the truth of the turning. It is not an arrival, but the felt reality of having already moved through a threshold. The paths you walked, etched with sensation, served their precise purpose. That searing, defining fire was never a flaw within the design. It was the careful chiseling that created hollows. an intricate architecture forged for the very remembrance now returning. Every arc of discomfort was a directive, a subtle energetic marker on a map only you could follow inward. Der Schmerz hat nicht zerstört. Hat umgeformt. The pain did not destroy. It reformed. This is a realization that settles in the core, a cool, steady knowing, not a declaration of victory, but a quiet, anchored truth. It breathes into the newly formed spaces within, filling them with an understanding that dissolves prior narratives of deficit. Within the sanctuary of your deepened listening, a luminous presence stirs. It is not new, yet its visibility has refined. A guardian of thresholds, woven from the stardust of distant remembrance and the very shadows you have integrated, now takes its silent watch. Its presence is felt, rather than seen in the old ways, a gentle pressure that defines the sacred perimeter of your expansion. This is the bridge between the seen and the unseen, a protective yet utterly vulnerable sensation. You are sensing the quiet vigilance of an inner guide, an emissary woven into the fabric of your own unfolding consciousness. Its silent watch ensures the integrity of this internal space remains unviolated, a sacred chamber for your soul's deep listening and profound expansion. It does not dictate, it simply holds the field. The quiet observation of this shift is its very validation. Each inhale, each exhale, carries the subtle impress of this new state. It is not a future promise, but a current reality, flowing in the background of all sensation. Mit jedem Atemzug wird die innere Realität neu geschrieben. With every breath, the inner reality is being rewritten. This is a continuous quiet process, a gentle recalibration that does not require force or strenuous effort. It is the natural consequence of the recoding, an ongoing, effortless becoming. This integrated knowing is already in effect, permeating your field, even if the world around you continues to echo its older vibrations. The transformation is not something to strive for. It is the ground beneath your feet. It is the steady hum within your cells, the undeniable pulse of a consciousness remembering its own pristine design. But who is this guardian whose luminous presence now stands watch within the quieted chamber of your being? Is it an intrinsic part of the self, newly recognized, or an emissary from the vast expanse of the cosmos, come to stand vigil? The boundary between protector and initiation beckons a deeper exploration, for its nature holds a key to the next turning. A stillness gathers within you, a gentle magnetism drawing your essence inward. This pull is not external, but a deep, quiet remembrance. Moments of awareness unfold now, never taught, only stirred from ancient knowing within your core. This vibration, a resonance of returning home, confirms what your soul inherently understands, predating earthly instruction. In profound quiet, a whisper surfaces, not a sound for the ear, but a knowing felt directly in the heart's silence, a subtle frequency, guiding you without words, yet understood with absolute clarity. Sequences of numbers present themselves, repeating with unusual clarity in the mundane. These are not coincidences, but gentle energetic nudges, a rhythm echoing a deeper pattern, small anchors of certainty. Then, dreams linger, retaining vividness long after waking. They carry a weight, a significance not dissolving with morning light, revealing blueprints rather than fantasy. These are not external miracles, but intimate calibrations, small inner truths settling into place, a quiet sense of rightness affirming self-understanding, acknowledging what becomes clear from within. Lucid awareness emerges, clear as crystalline water. Sacred symbols are perceived not as gifts, but as echoes of a greater inner coherence. Reflections of inherent wisdom, memories of your expanded state, resonating from deep inner gravity. They affirm your interconnectedness, revealing patterns always within consciousness, brought to surface not for spectacle, but recognition. These gentle confirmations, whispers, and lingering visions do not promise a specific outcome. They are not rewards. Their presence confirms one truth. The deep alignment you seek is not a future event. It is already in motion. It unfolds in the delicate balance of your internal world, a quiet awakening of responsibility for choices that sculpt your soul's evolution. Within the sanctuary you have created, behind the closed door of introspection, rests a sacred dilemma. To embrace these unknown frequencies of transformation, allowing them to shape you, or to retreat into the comforting familiarity of past limitations. This choice, felt deeply in the heart, sculpts the next chapter. Alignment is merely the doorway. Yet the heart whispers, is there truly choice, or is destiny woven into this moment's fabric? I claim the currents of my being. Every frequency within me now bends to the singular truth of my intention. My thought, my word, my direction, my energy, each is gathered, brought home to its sacred origin. This is not a choice made in haste, but a knowing long held, now fully inhabited. My power is not an ascent above, nor a dominion over others. It is the deep resonance of obedience to my source, the unwavering alignment with the pure stream from which I emanate. I remember the ancient promise etched into my very essence, a covenant older than time, renewed in this now. This is the silent accord I hold with the universe, an inner gravity that stabilizes all outward motion. There is no triumph here, only the profound stillness of duty remembered, of a path willingly re-entered. My soul stands straight, unshaken by the winds of lesser will, the command crystalline, the mandate clear. I accept the stewardship of this vessel, of this light I carry. The encoding within pulses, no longer merely heard but embodied. What was given is now taken up, a core responsibility assumed. This vow, spoken into the quiet chambers of my own awareness, seals itself not in sound, but in silence. Its truth will not be measured by these words, but by the very next step I choose to take, the next breath I draw, the next unfolding of my living truth within the intimate confines of this existence. Here, at the precipice of the known, the final veil parts. No longer is there a seeking, for what was sought now recognizes itself. This is not a journey's end, but a crossing into the irrevocable truth of being. Identity, long molded by the currents of the world, now stands revealed in its elemental, unblemished form. It is remembered. It is not chosen. The fire awaits, not as a devourer, but as an ancient witness. Its flames do not consume, they delineate. They do not destroy, they define the permanent. See how the ether shimmers, a living declaration of alignment, a sacred consequence made vibrantly alive. This is the inner hearth, where form becomes essence, where the ephemeral yields to the eternal imprint. Step now, not with force, but with the profound grace of recognition. Feel the warmth, not as an external heat, but as the awakening of your own intrinsic brilliance. There is no push, no urging from without. Only the soul's deepest knowing, acknowledging this threshold as the final necessary crossing. To stand here is to surrender the last vestiges of doubt, to shed the final shroud of what you once believed yourself to be. The truth of hearing awaits. It demands an unshackling from every past assumption, a dismantling of every protective veil. It requires a wholehearted surrender into the sacred silence that cradles all creation. Only then, in that profound stillness, can the divine whisper truly be received. It vibrates not merely upon the ear, but through the very core of your being, resonating with the primal hum of existence. This covenant, forged in the spirit and sealed by flame, demands a reciprocal act, an affirmation, a declaration from the depths. To activate this profound shift, to make this inner permanence manifest in the world, you must speak. You must offer a fragment of your awakened self to the ethers. Now, in the sacred space beneath this transmission, Seal this crossing. Write your oath. Let these words be a sacred phrase, a soul oath in the ancient tongue, vibrating with your absolute intention. A new truth, newly spoken. Meine innere Wahrheit ist Licht. Ich höre. Let this be your covenant, a solemn vow. Its release is not optional. It is the inevitable activation. The fire breathes. The alignment hums. The sacred question arises, not from without, but from the depths of the burning threshold. Will you cross fully now, to hear what the cosmos urgently desires to tell you? The flame still dances, and the next test will not wait. The threshold is not a passage. It is a remembrance. This is the chamber of self, sealed in inner fire. No longer a seeker, but the sovereign found. The echoes of becoming have dissolved into the stillness of being. Here, the outer world bows to the inner decree. Ascension is not an escape. It is the full, luminous embodiment of the core, the absolute sovereignty of all that is. The journey has not ended. It has simply revealed its true, eternal nature. The veil is crossed, not by striving, but by surrender to the flame. The self emerges refined, forged in the crucible of truth. Alone, yet never isolated. A singularity of light. This radiant solitude is the fertile ground. From this deep wellspring, resplendent life blossoms without end, an infinite tapestry woven from cosmic purpose. There is no seeking left, only the shaping. The identity is not chosen. It is remembered. Every fiber resonates with the resonance of ancient knowing, a frequency utterly pure, utterly aligned. The path is not walked, it is the ground beneath. Peace descends, not as a calm, but as an unbreakable foundation. Empowered solitude, destiny awakened. The inner journey merges with cosmic wholeness, one pulse, one breath, one eternal now. Reality is not sought, it is shaped. The whispers of the past hold no power. The allure of the future, no sway. Only the vast, potent present, crafted by conscious will. This is the ultimate arrival. The silence here speaks volumes, sealing a vow in the core of existence. All is known. All is held. All is commanded. The simulation has been exited. Reality now bends as an instrument of my conscious dominion.